Hey everyone, it's Tracy with Weaver Design Company, and today I have kind of a fun one for you to watch. I actually found a pretty cool floor plan online, but like all designers, we have this curse where how can we make this different? How can we make this better? So I'll show you here. I actually just did kind of a snippet of the area that I wanted to try to change. So we'll kind of zoom in real quick here. This was a pretty big house. It looked like one level, no basement or anything like that, which is what we would see here normally. So on this side that I cut off, there's 2 bedrooms, a hall bathroom, and a bathroom that opens into the other bedroom. So there's another couple bathrooms over here. So what I found interesting with this is they called this here a study. And I don't know if their intention was to make this another bedroom. Like I assume this window here would be considered egress. There is kind of a bathroom here with a walk-in shower. So I thought this was kind of weird. Here again, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just this is how a designer's brain works. How can we reconfigure this? The other thing is the kitchen's a little clustered, I think. They have a double oven right beside a refrigerator, which appears to be counter depth, which is fine. I would probably never put those 2 appliances together, but if you don't have a choice, I totally understand that. I feel like this pantry is a little small. So I thought, oh, maybe we could make this bigger. But the main thing was that I found this to be kind of strange since there's a bathroom right across the hallway that they could access. And if you're in the kitchen, now you have to go all the way over here to use the bathroom. So my goal behind this, what if we just did a half bath in this area, so just a toilet and a sink, where people in the kitchen who are working and people coming in from the garage here and laundry have access to a little half bath. I thought that would be a little bit better option. And there's some other things here I'll point out. So that's the floor plan that I wanted to tweak. So here's what I drafted, and it's literally what's over there. There's some dimensions they obviously don't call out, which is the pantry here and this closet. So I just took the dimensions that they had and did the best that I could with it. So to point some things out here, here again, I don't have all the right dimensions, but I lined it up the best that I could. To me, it looks like spacing here, it's not quite enough. I feel like walkways are really important. Traffic ways are really important here. This pantry door opens this direction, and what a lot of people don't think about are these diagonal dimensions here. These are what will get you in trouble sometimes. Also, we have this really tiny cabinet there. So I wanted to figure out a way to separate these 2, maybe move this over here. It looked like this cooktop to me from the original plan was probably a 48-inch if you compared that to the fridge and the sink. So that's a 48-inch right there. So in my version, I dropped that down to a 36 just because. And then I'll show you here in a second how I rotated this island and I got rid of this. Now, this is okay. I think the biggest thing that was bugging me was that these 2 were together and the pantry was kind of small. So just throwing that out there. So, and I'm looking over on this side because that's where my chief architect screen is. So that's where I'm drafting from, and my camera's there. Look right here. So that's where I'm looking when I'm talking to you. But just to show you further their plan that they had. It looked to me like they called this a mudroom from entering in from the garage. This looks like from their plan, like a tall cabinet. And these looked like base cabinets or maybe a drop zone. They were the same width as these cabinets, so I left them the same width just to show you. If it were me, I'd probably make those a little bit narrower. But yeah, just kind of showing you different things here. This exterior wall didn't really line up with this, and one of the things that I get really annoyed with is when things don't line up, but that's okay. It doesn't matter for this. We're just kind of trying to redesign it and see what we can come up with here. This does have a shower, which is that little outline there, this outline here. I do appreciate that they made the laundry room bigger. I feel like a lot of laundry rooms are really small. The only thing that I really get annoyed with a lot of floor plans today is that they want to put the laundry by the garage and clear away from all of the bedrooms. My laundry room is actually right in between bedrooms, so that's the majority of the laundry we do is clothes. So for it to be over by the garage, I've never really understood that, but maybe if that's the best place it can go, I understand. So to show you what I've kind of been working on to reconfigure is this. So these circles here, this is what I use for spacing. So this would represent a 3-foot circle, 3-foot width. This is a 4-foot width. And I just do that for this sake when I'm trying to plan out a new layout. I just do this to make it real quick, and then I'll go back and do my actual dimensions and space it properly. But when I'm kind of in the concept phase, this is what I do to try to reconfigure something. So my first thought was, okay, how can we make this pantry bigger? How can we do a half bath? If this, excuse me, if this was going to be used as a bedroom, maybe they would like a closet. So I was able to put in a closet here. So, but I mostly wanted to have a half bath back here. So when you're coming in from the garage and maybe you've been on a long road trip or something and man, you really got to go to the bathroom. Well, there's one right there. So I would find that nice, but that's just me. I did make the laundry room a little smaller. I feel like they could bring this wall out. Like if this is a new build or something, just make this a little deeper. And I think you would be fine doing that. But I kind of made this a little tiny hallway. Relocated this little closet here. I would probably use that for brooms and things like that, for more of a cleaning closet. And if people still needed an actual coat closet, you could easily move this doorway over and just wall this off and make that closet and a drop zone at the same time if you wanted to. So that's kind of what I was working on earlier here. So I wanted to move this double oven over here. You really need, it's really a good idea to have a space to put things that are coming out of the oven right beside it if you can. Obviously they did have this middle island here, which this isn't bad at all. I just didn't want those two together, and this little cabinet seemed kind of weird to me. So what I would like to do if I were to redo this part, I'm just gonna move this over. I'm gonna make this opening a little bigger actually. We'll do a 3-foot there and scoot that. Also on the original plan, it's showing these, it's calling them out as soffits, which to me, I interpret that as a doorway. I did look through and they had like a 3D walkthrough you could do. And for some reason they labeled all the doorways as soffits, which that's fine. I've just never seen that before. So I drew this in as a 30-inch double oven, so 30 inches wide. And I think it would be good to put it there, maybe, and get it off the wall just a little bit. Fillers are so important when you're doing cabinets, especially full overlay doors. So that means your doors cover the most of your face frame. So you need fillers. Right here is a filler for clearances, and so that you can open your cabinets better. So what I'd like to do, could probably leave that counter depth, this fridge, I'd like to put it there. And a lot of people are doing 39-inch cabinets above refrigerators now because they just keep getting bigger. So I'm going to do a wall cabinet here. We'll do a 39, and let's see, we're 90 high. Let's just do an 18 and see, 24, 90. That'll give us 6 foot off the ground. We'll see what that looks like here. And we can always go taller, but just for this, I just want to work on the top down. So if you do this, that'll give you plenty of room for your refrigerator to move in and out. Like I said, refrigerators are just getting bigger and bigger, and they really do need room to breathe. It is an appliance, and you can also clean, in between the cabinet if you need to, or the wall, wherever it's at. So for me, I think I would rather have a base cabinet here. Maybe this can be like a little drop zone. It's like a 30-inch there. I would also do a panel here, partition, so I'm going to put that out here. We'll go ahead and do probably like 3/4. 90 and 20. You could leave it 24. Sometimes they have 27. It really just depends on what brand you're using. For this sake, I'm just going to do that as a 24. So there, we've boxed in our refrigerator. I've also flipped this door swing around. I don't know why it's shown as an exterior door, but like I said, we're just working on top down right now. Let's try 28, or let's go up to 30. Let's see. So I can fit a 30-inch door there. So with this, I was able to make the pantry quite a bit bigger. I feel like people need big pantries. Like, there's just a lot of things you want to hide, like appliances. There's a lot of big appliances now, Instant Pot, crock pot, air fryers, all of those things. And a lot of people maybe don't want those all over their counter. I don't. So I put them in my pantry, and my microwave is in there too. So I think this would be a really good big pantry to have in this case. And let's see. I just kind of spaced this out temporarily in terms of where I would want an island to go. So I'm going to give that 48 inches or so. Or we could do, that's 4 foot. I think that's plenty, because here again, we're concerned with this diagonal dimension. And we can always make that further apart, or do a shorter overhang here too. So this is just me kind of playing around with options. So if I were to move that closer there, But yeah, guys, this is literally what design is. I could spend hours doing this, reconfiguring things. I'm going to make this walkway 4 foot also. Especially when you have back-to-back appliances like that. So right here is going to be the intersection of where I place a cabinet, but I kind of want to make sure I have enough distance this way also. So we'll see what that looks like here in a second. Now, in the original plan, over here was like living room, and right here was a dining room. So I just wanted to see what it would look like if we took this island and flipped it and got rid of this middle one. And let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that because that was more of just a placeholder. And some people really want their sinks to be centered on the island, and that's fine. So what I want to do is use this first line here, and we'll draw a line from here to there, find center, which is there. So that might be where the sink lives. Now, if it doesn't work out that I can't fit a dishwasher centered, which it looks like I can, we can always move that. I think I'm pretty happy with that. So let's move that to our 4 foot dimension, which is right there. And then for this purpose, I think I would rather have the dishwasher over here. So let's see where that ends up. And I'm going to take my end panel here. Oops. We'll center that. Chief Architect changed the way they do dishwashers. It used to be you had to place a cabinet, 24-inch cabinet, and then drop your dishwasher into it. They changed it to where you just put your dishwasher and it automatically creates a countertop. So I don't know, I kind of like the other way better. Because like for instance, this dishwasher doesn't even come all the way up, which it should. So now I got to fix that. So even if this doesn't come all the way to this line or this line, I've used 27 inches here between my dishwasher and this end panel. So what I'm going to do is just put a 27-inch cabinet on this side so that my sink is still centered right there. So it's still really close to 4 feet, and that's fine with me. I think that looks pretty good. Now, some people might want this cooktop to be centered. It's just kind of preference, but I think what I would like to do also, I'm going to delete this because I don't need that. I'll probably go ahead and do a half wall. And I'll tweak that here. I don't know why it connected like that, but it did. I don't want a wall cap because it's going underneath the countertop. And we're gonna move that so that it's right up against the back here. That. Oops. Need to fix my angle, fix angle. Okay. So I'm just kind of moving my wall to where I need it to be. And for this, I don't want it to be perfect here. I'm just kind of showing you. Chief also has these issues with connecting walls, and it's kind of annoying. The dashed line that you see here is actually invisible, so which I don't want it to connect to that at all. So maybe we'll just make it a little short. And it's still wanting to connect, so But yeah, these are the things that takes a lot of time to do. Nope, I don't want to do that. Maybe I can inch it over there. No. It has this wall corner tool that doesn't always, there we go. That's fine. I'll take that. And the next thing I'm going to do is make this like one big countertop, because that's what everybody wants right now, is a big countertop and island. So and this is where on this dimension here, this diagonal dimension here, if I move my 3 foot, let's put a dimension on this. This black line that you see is sheetrock. The gray here is stud framing. So that's why I always pull my dimensions to the sheetrock. That's really important for when you're doing finishes and getting countertop quotes and things like that. So if we want to, we could do like a 15-inch overhang, shorten that a little bit, and so that we still have a fair amount of room there. So if I move my little circle out of the way. And you know, I was playing around earlier, like what if we did a kind of an angle or something, but it just didn't work very well, in my opinion. So, and then, so I'm pretty happy with that. We'll move these out of the way because I don't need them. I'm just deleting some of these CAD lines because I don't really need those right now. So yeah, the other thing that I would do is basically just make this run a little bit more even. I don't want my cooktop necessarily right behind my sink. So what we could do is even it out from, we'll just say this dash line, or we could go off of my end panel here. So if we come off of this, come off of that end panel, there's my center right there. So that could be a center point. But this is where designers, we spend a lot of time doing this stuff right here. Making it symmetrical, making it look nice, not cramming your appliances together. So then I've got plenty of room here, and you could do 46 would be a custom cabinet, so we could do 45, which 45 7/8, whoops. And for this purpose, I'm just showing you just big cabinets. If we were to really design a kitchen, then we would hone in on those sizes a little more, and drawer bases and things like that. So I'm just going to make these the same size cabinet because, again, I'm one of those symmetrical people. So you could do something like that, and you could extend this over and just tweak it just a little, so it doesn't have to be dead centered there. In fact, it shifted a little because I made that come over, but yeah, I'm just saying you can fix that if you want to. I'm not going to do that for this purpose, but I mostly just wanted to show you guys how redesign works, and this would be the same thing for remodel. So I would take, okay, say somebody actually has this house but they don't want a bathroom here. This is exactly what I would do. I would come out and measure, draft it exactly how it is now, windows, doors, all of that, whether or not it has casing or maybe it doesn't have casing on the doors. And then I would redesign it just like this. What can we come up with? How can we make this work better for you and your family? Again, there was nothing wrong with this first one. I just thought, I think I could tweak that and just see what we could do. But yeah, then I would continue on with wall cabinets. I did a wall cabinet there, but not everywhere else. But you could continue on and just keep going with this. But yeah, this is what design is. This is what real design is. And other designers can chime in, but we could spend hours doing this. I mean, I could literally, and there's probably more than one option here. This is just what I thought about. But if it were me, I would probably make these a little less deep, maybe vanity depth or something. A lot of people are doing benches now with drop zones, and they want a place to just hang their stuff out in the open. They don't necessarily want to jam it in a closet. So you could do that here. I would probably flip-flop this though and put your bench here so that you have room for a light switch there, and put your tall storage here if you need it, or maybe you don't need it. And then maybe, like I said, you could just maybe frame this off completely and do one big closet. It just depends on your needs. But yeah, my main goal was to just do a half bath over here so that all of the people using this part of the house have a little bathroom. Because like I said, if you're coming in from the garage, you've been on a long road trip, the first thing I want to do is go to the bathroom. But that's just me. So that's not everybody. And then kitchen-wise, I thought, well, what would happen if we turned one of the islands, and just give us more room to walk around. To me, that's a little bit easier to function. And getting this double oven away from the refrigerator, I think, is better also. So, and I wish this laundry room could be a little bigger. Like I said, if it was a new build, I would just I would bump this out a little bit more. And then, yeah, they could use this here as an office, bedroom, whatever. It has a closet now. And then they can go use the bathroom over in the hallway. It had a bathtub, and it was a pretty good sized bathroom. So yeah, that's what I have for you guys today. But this is what design is. This is what I do. I think it's a lot of fun. And if you guys have other floor plans maybe you've seen, and you're like, wow, this doesn't make any sense, I think it could be better, you could send it to me, and I'll do the same thing here and see how I can reconfigure it. That's one of my favorite things to do is reconfigure stuff. And to me, it's just a giant puzzle. And I like to sit here and figure out what's possible and what isn't. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this. What would you do different? What do you like? What don't you like? What ideas do you guys have? Let me know in the comments. I'm more than happy to address that, just to see what you guys think. But yeah, I just wanted to show this to you guys. Let me know if you have any other ideas. And this is Tracy with Weaver Design Company, and we'll see you on the next one.